Hello, everybody. Welcome. I wanted to share something with you guys from our course about the standard on Green Dolphin Street. And we studied, as usual, the harmonic analysis, the melodic analysis, and we discussed ideas to practice, to learn this song and practice and improvise on this song. And there's something interesting about the evolution of the harmonic progression over the last 8 bars of that tune. So we're going to look at the original chords that we have right now on the screen, and we're going to see what Ahmad Jamal did, and then Miles Davis, and then I'll share my reharmonization of those 8 bars. So it's interesting to see here. I always go to the original recordings, the original chords, to have a deeper understanding of what we're doing today. So here are the original progression, and I transposed everything in C major, and it goes like this. All right, so we have a 2 5 flat 9, 2 minus 7, 5 7 flat 9, going to A minor to the 6th chord. That's a deceptive resolution, and then 5 of 5, 2 with a dominant pedal, 5 1. Okay, so these are the original chords, the original progression. Now, when you have a 2 5 1 over 3 bars like this, a very common reharmonization, and that's what Ahmad Jamal did, would be to have your D minor 7 G7 over here. And if you have a D minor 7, you can approach it with A7. It's dominant, it's secondary dominant. And if you have A7, you can have the related 2 minor 7, and then you have a 2 5 of 2, 2 5 1. Obviously, you got to make sure it works with the melody, and here in this instance, it works just fine. Instead of 2 5, now we have 2 5 of 2, okay, so now we have 2 2 5, so that adds some activity, some motions. So that's what Ahmad Jamal did. Now he did something else. Before this E minor 7, he approached that E minor 7 with a B7 over here. And not only that, it did B7 over D sharp. And that works because, well, B7 it's the dominant of E minor 7, and the melody, always check with the melody if it works when you try reharmonizations. This E flat, which was the flat 9 of D7, is now D sharp, the 3rd of B7. Now you don't necessarily have to play it with the D sharp in the bass, but we like this chromatic motion in the bass line. Very nice. But you know, if you prefer, okay, it depends. Sometimes you might prefer to just go to the B in the bass, or you can use the inversion to have a chromatic line in the bass. And very often when you use a chromatic bass line, you may see it as a diminished chord, all right, because this, it's B7 flat 9, and if I put D sharp in the bass, then I have D sharp diminished. All right. Okay, and this is the reharmonization of Ahmad Jamal. That's what he did. And he used to play it in C. All right, so of course we could do exactly the same thing here. I could have a E7, and if I wanted to do that, I would have E7 over G sharp. That would be a more fluid option. Okay, so that would be another option. Now, the interesting thing is that if I have a dominant chord, I can always, or I can try, and most of the time it's going to work, but we can actually add the related to minor chord, which means that here I could try B minor 7, but B minor 7 I have a F sharp, and here I have a F natural, so I would go with the B minor 7 flat 5. All right, and that works just fine. Now, again, another thing to observe is that between G7 and B half diminished, all right, we have both 3 notes in common, so that's easy to go to substitute, to change G7 for B minor 7 flat 5, because and if I do both at the same time, that's G7 with a ninth, so everything is related. Also in C major, both G7 and B half diminished are in the dominant function chords, right? So it's very easy to play one or the other. And now we have a complete 2-5 to A minor. And when we do that, we probably wouldn't play a E7 over G sharp. We're just going to play E7. And here it's going to be the same thing. We can have a F sharp half diminished, F sharp half diminished. All right, and now you can see the modern version. We're going to have D minor 7, then D minor 7 over C to have a descending bass line, going to B, 2-5 to A, then A minor 7 over G, going down to F sharp. And this is what we're usually playing today. If you go to a jam session, that's probably what the rhythm section is going to play. All right, so we see that this is what we're playing today. And again, Ahmad Jamal didn't exactly play that. Ahmad Jamal, he played this progression, so D minor, G7, A minor, D, and then B over D sharp, and then 2-5 of 2, 2-5-1. Miles Davis here played a mix of Ahmad Jamal and what we do today. So actually, that would be probably the second step. We had Ahmad Jamal playing this. And then Miles did play the 2-5. But then he goes back to D, B over D sharp. All right, you see? So Miles used a descending bass line to go from D minor over C, B half diminished E7, A minor 7, so 2-5-1 of 6, and then the 5 of 5, 5 of 3, with the chromatic bass line, 2-5 of 2, 2-5-1. And now we have, it's exactly the same progression, D minor, 2-5-1, bass motion, 2-5. All right, and here is an example of another reharmonization. This is what I did, for instance, and I recorded that song on my very first album while I was a student at Berklee College, and we recorded that with my mentor, George Garzon. And the harmonization goes like this, and I kept the bass motion, but now I transformed that as a full minor 7 chord. All right, and now I have the 11, and this is my 9th. Now the melody goes like this, so I had to displace the melody a little bit. The 2-5 of A minor, and then same thing, I go for a full G minor 7, and that's nice. Here I have the 11, 2-5 of E, but deceptive resolution, I go to D, and then E flat. All right, so here it's non-functional. All right, D flat minor, D flat major 7. So I have the sharp 11, B flat major 7. So now my G is my 13. A flat major 7. So now G is my major 7. And here I wrote A flat diminished over G. I could just have written a G7 flat 9. Now if I just have this actually is A flat diminished major 7. All right, but it's all the same thing. It's just different ways to say G7 flat 9, which is probably the easiest way to write it. But here it's interesting to have this color of A flat major, A flat diminished major 7. Definitely a color I like and I use on a regular basis. That's my reharmonization. And we didn't play it in C major, we played in E flat major. So check it out. All right, my friends, so this is it, the evolution of those 8 bars from the original progression, then the Ahmad Jamal progression, the Miles Davis progression, what we usually do today in a jam session, and my own reharmonization. And there's, the sky is the limit. There's an infinite number of reharmonizations that you can do. So let me know if you have your own reharmonization, or if you know of a reharmonization by someone else, I'd be interested in learning from you guys as well. So thank you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon on jazzvideolessons.net. And until then, keep swinging. Bye bye.